Hey everyone, it's Justin from the Delish Test Kitchen, and I gotta be honest, I love a big American steakhouse meal. A beautiful piece of medium rare steak, some creamed spinach, thick cut bacon, tomato salad, and there's no better way to start that meal, or honestly, no better way to start any meal than with a big, beautiful shrimp cocktail. Shrimp themselves are sweet, like almost buttery, and have such a distinctive flavor. And obviously I love them in different dishes, but to be able to have them in their like most pure, delicious form and getting them cold and dipping them in a little bit of cocktail sauce, it's just hard to think of anything better. You could literally like chuck some shrimp in a pot of boiling water and serve that and call it shrimp cocktail. But if we put in a little bit more nuance, a little bit more effort, it's going to make an enormous difference, I promise. There are a couple tips, tricks, hacks to the perfect shrimp cocktail, and we're gonna get into it right now. Let's talk about shrimp, y'all. Here's like a misconception about buying seafood, and like sometimes food in general. People assume that it being frozen means that there's a lack of freshness, but with seafood, that's almost the opposite is true. Unless you can basically guarantee that the shrimp came off the boat that morning or like early in the night before, you shouldn't be buying fresh seafood. In fact, most of the stuff that you're buying at the counter that is fresh has just been thawed a second before. Freezing seafood at the peak of freshness is actually the most effective way to have shrimp, and then you're just gonna thaw it yourself. The best way to thaw frozen shrimp is to just keep it in your fridge for an entire like 12 hours night before you're gonna use them. If you must do it in a quick amount of time, you could like add them to a plastic bag, run some water over it, don't submerge it in water, some cool water until they're defrosted, that works too. I will say, if you're gonna buy them from the grocery counter, if it looks like they still have a little bit of frost on them, that means that those were like freshly defrosted that day. That's totally fine. They just did the work for you. For shrimp cocktail, we want something sizable. We don't want those like baby shrimp that you'd use for a stir fry. We want something nice and meaty. So before we do anything else, we need to peel these shrimp, peel them off. I like to hold on for shrimp cocktail, like leave the tails on, just get the shells off the rest of them. The one thing I probably will implore you to do is buy them with the shells on. They're gonna be fresher that way, and those shells hold on to a ton of flavor that we are going to harness. You can even get like the easy peel, the type that like has the vein removed already. You just peel off the shell on the outside. That's totally fine too. The last thing I'll say about buying shrimp, try your absolute best to buy them whole. That means like shrimp and heads on. I know that that might put you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but the heads and the shells hold on to a ton of flavor. It's sort of like the bones in a stock. That's what imparts the flavor. We want that from the shells too, and we're gonna use them in our broth to poach the shrimp if you have them. If you don't, that's fine too. The shrimp are cleaned, held on to the peels, and we're gonna use them in like a pseudo stock that we're gonna use to cook our shrimp. It's really basic. It's just gonna be water, parsley, half a small onion, a lemon that we're gonna squeeze the juice out of and then just add directly into the pot, a bit of sugar and a bit of salt. The sugar is actually gonna like help reflect the natural sweetness of the shrimp. It's really good, don't skimp. And we're gonna toss in those shrimp shells as well. We're gonna bring that to a boil. That's gonna help all of like the flavors meld and get into each other, and that's gonna make like a really incredible, flavorful, and like fresh tasting liquid that our shrimp can cook in. If you want and you like have nail bry, you could like throw in a glug of white wine, or like even my favorite with this, I love putting a little bit of vermouth in my shrimp stock. It's really yummy. While our stock is coming up to a boil, I'm gonna make a little bit of an ice bath. Ice baths shock shrimp and keep them from cooking further after you take them out of a hot liquid like this stock, and it helps to cool them down faster because we're gonna serve them cold anyway. Ice baths, basically just like making a big old glass of ice water, fill a big bowl about halfway with water, cover it with ice, and do a little bit more ice than you would think. You're not thinking like 6 ice cubes, you need like a bowl this size full of ice. Once the stock comes up to a boil, remove those shells, and then we can get started. Shrimp are really delicate, and overcooking them can happen really quickly, and that will result in like bouncy, chewy, disgusting shrimp. We want tender, beautiful, sweet little morsels of shrimp. So we're actually gonna cut the heat off of our stock, and once the bubbling has subsided, we're not boiling the shrimp, we're poaching them. So we're gonna put them in the liquid, and then they're just gonna sit for like 2 to 3 minutes. All we're looking for is for the shrimp to be totally opaque all the way through, and that means that they're finished. Then we're gonna immediately transfer them using a spider, using a slotted spoon, into our ice bath, shock them, stop them from cooking. These look incredible. They're like picture perfect little like beautiful curly Q shrimp. They should be bouncy, but like not like you could throw them on the ground and they bounce up. They wanna like just have a little give, and that's how you know that they're done. It's gonna take about like 2 to 3 minutes. Anytime you have shrimp cocktail, you have to have cocktail sauce. And yeah, you can buy like the Heinz brand or like your grocery store brand. It'll be pretty good. You can even like doctor it up and make it even better. I like making it myself. It's super easy, comes together quickly, and you can customize it. This is a ketchup-based sauce, so into a bowl, we're going in with a whole half a cup of ketchup, then a half a cup of chili sauce. You can even use like a Thai chili sauce if you wanted to. Then we're gonna go in with some horseradish, some lemon zest and juice, a bit of Worcestershire, some celery salt to get that like really like bright saltiness, and a couple dashes of hot sauce. How fancy do I feel holding this? I prefer this to any martini, old-fashioned Manhattan any day. These are perfect looking. You just gotta give them a dunk and go right in. They're perfectly cooked. They're sweet, they're tender. They have a little bit of saltiness. And there is a difference between this and just a normal poached shrimp and water. You can taste a little bit of the lemon juice, the parsley, that extra shrimpy flavor that we got from the shells. The extra effort makes a difference. Also, this cocktail sauce, better than any bottled cocktail sauce you're gonna get from the supermarket. You must make your own. You can serve it like this in a cocktail glass, or you could serve it on like a beautiful platter if you have enough shrimp for everyone to take a little bite. I like it with a little bit of parsley, big squeeze of lemon over top, perfect. If you want more recipes that are gonna make you feel fancy and free, just like this one, stick around at delish.com.